So, there's a game on Roblox that's been absolutely blowing up lately. It's called 99 Nights in the Forest. Sounds like just another spooky survival game, right? You've seen these kinds of games before. Creepy atmosphere, monsters lurking in the shadows, maybe even a few jump scares. But hold up, this one's different, like really different. Picture this. You're dropped into a huge dark forest where creepy creatures are always lurking, waiting for the right moment to attack. You've got to gather supplies, build shelter, and craft tools just to survive. Sounds fun, right? But here's where it gets twisted. You're also given a mission to rescue 4 kids who are lost deep in the forest. And these aren't just any kids, they're trapped in this nightmare. And it's up to you and your team to find them before it's too late. Okay, but here's the kicker. This game is actually based on a real-life survival story. And when you find out the truth behind it, you're going to look at this game in a whole new way. Imagine this. A small plane crashes deep in the Amazon jungle. Inside the plane were a mother, 4 kids, and a few other passengers. Everyone dies except for the kids, ranging from 13 years old down to a baby who's only 11 months old. These kids are stranded alone in the jungle. No food, no help, no adults. Just them against wild animals, venomous snakes, and the jungle itself. And somehow, against all odds, they survive for 40 days. 40 days without help. 40 days hiding from predators. 40 days scavenging for food. And when they were finally rescued, the whole world was in shock. The bravery, the strength, and the sheer survival instinct these kids showed is something no one could have predicted. Here's where it gets even crazier. This game, 99 Nights in the Forest, it takes its inspiration straight from this real-life story. There's no mention of the actual plane crash or the kids in the game, but if you pay close enough attention, you'll notice how closely it mirrors what those real-life kids went through in the jungle. In the game, the forest is full of dangerous creatures, with the biggest threat being this terrifying deer monster. You can't kill it, and it's always hunting you down, just like the real predators those kids would have faced. And then there's the mission. Rescue the 4 kids, who are hidden somewhere in the forest, and they're surrounded by traps, dangers, and that very same deer monster. Sound familiar? But here's the thing. It's not just a random horror game with monsters thrown in for fun. This game is about survival, just like the kids in that jungle. It's about coming together with others, using your skills, and not giving up, even when it feels like everything is stacked against you. So as you play, the longer you go, the more you realize that this isn't just a game. It's an emotional, intense reminder of what these kids actually went through. You start to feel a real connection to them. And suddenly, it's not just about avoiding monsters, it's about not letting these kids down. You feel the pressure. You feel the responsibility. You're not just rescuing pixelated kids. You're protecting the memory of real-life heroes who survived something unimaginable. And when you finally make it to the end of a night, when you've built your shelter and fended off the creatures, and you realize you've rescued all the kids, it's more than just victory. It's a deep, meaningful tribute to their survival. You've survived the night just like they did. And it feels real. So, next time you load into 99 Nights in the Forest, keep that in mind. It's not just a game. It's a story of real survival, of real strength, and of real people who lived through something most of us could never even imagine. And when you see that creepy deer monster lurking in the shadows, remember, there's something deeper happening here. This game is more than just another spooky survival game. It's a reminder that real people have faced the unimaginable, and they came out on the other side. Now, I know you probably came here for the jump scares and the thrill, but as you dive deeper into this game, you'll realize it's not just about the monsters, it's about the real monsters we face in life and how we can overcome them. Trust me, once you understand the story behind it, this game will feel like 100 times more intense. The real question is, will you be able to survive the 99 nights in the forest? You and your squad are dropped into a huge dark forest. No maps, no guides, just you, your friends, and a terrifying unknown stretching as far as the eye can see. Sounds like a typical survival game, right? Wrong. This is no ordinary survival challenge. Your goal? Survive 99 nights in the forest. And believe me, that's not as easy as it sounds. First things first, you'll need to gather supplies, wood, food, tools, anything that'll help you get through the night. You'll be building shelters, setting up campfires, and crafting weapons to protect yourself from whatever's lurking around. You've got to stay on your toes because the forest is full of dangers at every turn. And the worst part? You can't trust anything, not even the sounds of the wind in the trees. But hold up, there's a special kind of nightmare in this forest. Monsters. And I'm not talking about random creatures you can just outrun. No, I'm talking about the deer monster. This thing is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It's unkillable. You can't fight it. You can't outrun it. It will hunt you down no matter where you go or how well you hide. And let me tell you, it's fast. It's not some slow-moving creature you can dodge. It's always watching, always waiting. The moment you let your guard down, the deer monster will be there, closing in on you. And if it catches you, it's game over. No respawn, no chance to try again. It's just you and the fear of survival. So now you're not just up against the monsters, you're up against the forest itself, a place that will test every skill you've got. You'll have to work with your team, trust each other, and make sure everyone's looking out for one another. Because one mistake, one wrong turn, and that's it. You'll be stuck in the woods, lost forever. And those missing kids? They're not going to rescue themselves. They're deep in the forest, surrounded by dangers you can't even imagine. Your job is to find them, protect them, and get them out before the monsters get to them first. But here's the twist. This game isn't just about surviving, it's about protecting. Every night you survive feels like a small victory, but every night you fail to protect the kids feels like a giant loss. It's not just about building shelters or gathering supplies. It's about making sure everyone stays alive. And that's where it gets personal. You start to feel that pressure, the pressure to save these kids. You're not just playing a game anymore, you're part of their story. And trust me, when the deer monster starts getting closer and the night starts closing in around you, you'll realize just how real that fear is. The game will stop feeling like a game. It'll feel like you're actually stuck in that forest, with nothing but your wits and your team to survive. Every creak of the trees, every shadow that moves will make your heart race. You won't just be afraid of dying, you'll be terrified of failing. Because in this game, the stakes aren't just about winning, they're about honoring the story behind it all. So, yeah, surviving 99 nights in this forest? It's not just about battling monsters or building shelters. It's about surviving the unknown, fighting the fear, and trying to stay alive long enough to rescue those kids. It's about making it through the darkest, most haunting nights of your life. And when you finally make it to the end of the game, you'll realize that the scariest part isn't the monsters, it's the strength you have to dig deep for to keep going. Are you up for the challenge? Or will the deer monster be the one to claim victory? You can't let your guard down for even a second in this game. 99 Nights in the Forest isn't just a test of survival, it's a test of your willpower. Back in May 2023, something happened in the Colombian Amazon jungle that no one could have ever expected. A small Cessna plane, carrying a family, mom, dad, and 4 kids, was flying over the dense, uncharted wilderness. Everything was normal, until it wasn't. The plane's engine failed, and in an instant, everything changed. The plane crashed hard deep into the jungle, far from any civilization. It was a tragedy. But here's the part that will blow your mind. The parents didn't survive. The mother and father were both killed in the crash. But somehow, against all odds, the 4 kids did. The oldest was just 13 years old, the youngest barely 11 months old, with 2 others in between at 9 and 4 years old. The kids were completely alone. No food, no adults to guide them, no way to call for help, no GPS, no way to find their way out. Just them, surviving on their own, deep in one of the most dangerous jungles on Earth. The Amazon isn't just a forest, it's a place full of wild animals, venomous snakes, harsh terrain, and the constant threat of death. There's no easy escape, and no one knew they were there. Think about it for a second. 4 kids, stranded in the wild, no experience, no tools, no knowledge of how to survive. They were just kids, thrust into the most unimaginable situation anyone could face. No adults to protect them. It was just them versus the entire jungle. They had to find water, how to stay hydrated without knowing where to find a clean source. And on top of that, they had to hide from wild animals that would have loved to make them their next meal. Think jaguars, venomous snakes, and all kinds of dangerous creatures lurking in the shadows, waiting for an easy target. What's even crazier is that while they were trying to survive, They also had to deal with the constant threat of exposure. It rains a lot in the Amazon, and hypothermia could easily set in. If they couldn't find shelter or keep warm, it would have been game over. And the scariest part? No one knew where they were. Despite huge search efforts, no one could find the plane wreckage, and no one knew the kids were still alive out there. The search team scoured the jungle for weeks, but those kids were still out there, surviving on their own, hiding from danger, staying alive against all the odds. But somehow, through all of it, the hunger, the fear, the loneliness, these kids kept going. They worked together. The oldest girl, only 13 years old, took on the role of protector for her younger siblings, keeping them safe and mentally strong. They learned how to find food, how to stay hidden, and how to stay alive in a jungle that wanted to swallow them whole. After 40 days, 6 weeks of fighting to stay alive, they were finally found. The Colombian military rescued them, and the whole world was shocked. The bravery, the resilience, and the incredible will to survive that these kids showed was beyond belief. It was one of the most incredible stories of survival in modern history, and it left everyone in awe. These kids became symbols of strength and hope. People around the world were talking about them. Even the United Nations called them a symbol of human endurance and courage. News outlets like CNN, BBC, and The Guardian shared their story, because what these kids went through was something no one thought possible. And it wasn't just a story about surviving in the wild. It was a story about human spirit and the incredible strength of kids who, against all odds, kept fighting. Now, what makes all of this even more wild is that a Roblox game called 99 Nights in the Forest took inspiration from this insane real-life story. When you hear this, you'll realize that this game is more than just another creepy survival game. It's a tribute to these kids' survival. But here's the thing. The survival story of those 4 kids is unbelievable. And when you think about how they managed to pull through, it's even more shocking. That was real life. That was no game. The struggle, the fear, the survival, it wasn't fiction. It was real. And these kids were real heroes. Now, here's the thing. The game doesn't directly say it's inspired by the real-life event. But if you look closely enough, you can see exactly where they got the inspiration from. The game's premise? 4 kids to save, hidden deep somewhere in a massive forest. Sound familiar? The real-life story involved kids lost in the jungle, and now, in the game, you're on a similar mission. Rescue those kids before it's too late. But the similarities don't stop there. The forest in the game is no ordinary forest. It's creepy. It's full of dangerous monsters, deadly traps, and eerie rituals. All the things you'd expect to encounter in a jungle like the one those kids found themselves in. Just like in the real world, the forest in the game is full of unknowns, where anything can happen, and you're constantly on edge. But here's the twist that might blow your mind. The game even has a symbol, the spawn point symbol, which, believe it or not, is basically just the Roblox logo. I know, it sounds totally wild, right? But here's why it makes sense. This game, 99 Nights in the Forest, was originally based on fictional lore from another game called Forsaken. It was all part of a backstory, something meant to add layers to the world of the game. But as these things go, some people took the lore a little too seriously. They became obsessed with it, and before anyone knew it, Spawnism was born. And no, it's not just some weird online fad. It turned into a cult, a Roblox cult. Yeah, you heard me. It sounds crazy, but trust me, the story gets way deeper than that. In the game, one of the biggest threats you'll face is the deer monster. This thing is terrifying. And the worst part? It's unkillable. Yeah, you can try to fight it, but it'll just keep coming for you. It's not just a random creature thrown in for cheap scares. It's purposefully designed to embody the fear and uncertainty the real kids faced in the jungle. Think about it. Those kids weren't just fighting physical dangers like animals and hunger. They were fighting the unknown, constantly wondering if they'd ever be found or if they'd make it